From surgically modified bodies to becoming a millionaire in a day business, do we even know what's real anymore? Every day we are faced with the next best thing when we're just trying to become healthier, wealthier, and happy. What the fuck is real? What the fuck is true? What the fuck are you supposed to believe about yourself and your success while trying to build something that actually lasts? Welcome to What the Fuck is Beauty Anyway, the podcast. I am your host, Jen Carrasco, founder of Raga Studio, a fitness champion, IFBB pro figure competitor, a skincare line creator, and a serial entrepreneur. Well, and I'm an overall business coach. After years of building businesses from the ground up, I am here to help you with society standards and, well, to use your beauty within to build something that is truly you and truly impactful. So now let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Jen here with WTF is Beauty Anyway. And I have an amazing, amazing lady on my show today. But before we get started, I always want to say, please rate, like, review, share this. And I'm excited because we are usually I do one-on-ones. And within the last month, I've been working on actually interviewing people and talking with them. And I've been so excited because all of my great people that I've been having on are female entrepreneurs that are kicking ass. And so for me, I love it. It's just phenomenal. So I actually let everybody introduce themselves because I think it's a great way. So then that way you can introduce yourself, what you're about, what you believe in, you know, your career, your business, your life, whatever gets you, like, that's what I want to hear. So I'm going to introduce Marta, which she is incredible, and I'll let her do her spiel. So go ahead.
Sure. Hi, guys. I am Marta. I'm also known as Marta the Minimalist. I am a mom of 5, and through some experiences in my life that really required us to bring things as minimalistic as possible, I absorbed minimalism, and that's the philosophy behind everything that we do. What is the simplest way that we can do this to maximize the output? And I love that I've been able to build multi-million-dollar brands with my husband, multi-six-figure brands on my own, while being the majority of the time at home with my 5 kids. My main drive for this is that, and something that I'm super proud of is that I'm actually from Italy. I'm a French and Italian citizen. When I was 9 years old, my parents brought myself, my 4 siblings over to America. And it was so hard for them. We experienced some financial traumas because 5 kids, being immigrants, my dad only being able to work. And I love to now be able to show to my parents that it was all worth it, that I have a company, that I employ multiple creatives, that have a pretty good lifestyle with my 5 kids. I buy my parents plane tickets to take trips to Italy with us. And it's just a really good reminder that the most scary leaps of faith can lead to beautiful things.
Amen. I love it. So my question is, how did you do it? What gave you the drive? What gave you the strength?
I had to do it. I didn't have, my husband actually had lost his job. I was working full time at an ice cream shop, actually. And I would take, at the time, 4 kids with me to work because I was I now know my own programming of why I was so obsessed with being present for my kids and running a business. And it was honestly just some really difficult things happened. I was finding myself really slip as a mom. And there was some check-in moments where I truly started to believe that the world would be better off without me because I was putting so much pressure on myself. So I didn't have a husband. I had a husband, but I didn't have one that was providing for us financially. I was at the time living in a basement with my kids because we had taken on a real estate investment, which is this current home. My mom had cancer. So I had to declutter everything that was draining us. And I had to actually get a full-time job because I was trying to make it a go as an entrepreneur and I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just basically dying. I was dying. I was killing myself with the pressure. My mom was literally dying of cancer. My husband and I, we're in discord because of obviously all the financial problems. And I decided that there had to be a better way. I remember looking at one of my entrepreneurial friends and saying, there has to be an easier way. I see people thriving. There has to be an easier way. And she kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And so I just decided and I committed. And no matter how hard it got, I decided that I had to make it work. I had to have a thriving business because my kids were not going to grow up struggling the same way that I did, as much as my parents tried really hard to provide for us.
And so I know, long story short, I mean, I don't know if you can, but how did you do it? Like,
I
what was your mindset every single day while you were creating what you created?
Well, I will tell you, two times I tried to go on full on as an entrepreneur, and I think the story sometimes gets confusing because I blur the details. But so I was working since my first child in an ice cream shop full time while wearing my babies on my body, while toddlers toddling around in walkers and jumpers and pulling down the inventory and spilling ice cream everywhere. And I was like, I can't do this. I got to go. And I did not seek guidance. I did not hire a coach or mentor. And therefore, because I didn't know what I was doing, I had a will and I do trust that God always provides a way, but I didn't have any guidance. I didn't take any inspired action. I don't think I even knew that coaches and mentors existed. Or I had so many money mindset blocks that I didn't think it was worth the investment. I didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So we found ourselves in financial trouble because my husband lost his job. We bought this house, which was our second rehab. And so I had to get a full-time job. Luckily, I loved that job. It was such a wonderful company, such positive leadership, so much love and support. And I came to realize they had hundreds of employees. They were taking us on lavish trips to New York just for fun, just for team building. And they started the same year I started my company. And I thought to myself, what is the secret here? How are they doing this? And I've had to basically let my company go because I couldn't hack it. And yet they've started the company at the same time, kind of similar industries, and they're thriving and growing and hiring more. And they have such a positive, beautiful mission and the way that they run things. So it was an inspiration for me to try again. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. I found my first coach. I hired her. I plopped down multiple credit cards at really high interest rates that I could not afford. But that's a dirty word, right? In entrepreneurship, don't tell yourself you can't afford something. And I trusted myself and it paid off. And it was scary as shit. But no matter how much my brain said, you can't do this, go back to comfort, go back to your full-time job. The brain tried to tell me that I was actually taking from my family by trying to make this thing work. I had to stay committed and check in with myself because obviously, if you have something on your heart, I'm very Catholic, obviously being from Rome, Italy, baptized by Pope John Paul II. So it's no surprise there. I feel whatever is on my heart, it is my duty to follow through no matter how hard it gets, and just believe and trust and say, I don't know what the plan is here. I don't get it. I don't see it. It just looks like a shit show to me, but I know that there's one. So I'm just going to keep going, one foot in front of the other, and just believe that it's going to work out.
And I mean, I'm going to be upfront and vulnerable, and I'm completely honest about who I am. I don't ever front about anything. And I mean, we all have money traumas because
Yeah.
I feel like most of the entrepreneurs that make it and get successful are the ones that literally have failed, that have fallen on their face multiple times. And we've all had that trauma going forward. And I'm telling you, I mean, you even know this to this day for myself, that is my trauma source, right?
Mhm.
And that's something that I've had to work through over and over. And before I get on about, how I hired you to help me and help me with everything else, that was a struggle for me as well. And I just had to trust myself that making these decisions were the right thing for me. But
Mhm.
how did you, what are your tricks and little things you do to yourself or your mind to get over those traumas? Because I know a lot of my clients have it. And I know a lot of people in general who are not entrepreneurs have that. They
Mhm.
have that little quirk in their head because our parents did the thing that I call thought seeds that are stuck in our head of we don't have enough money, we can't afford this, we can't do that. And how did you get over that?
I still to this day work with multiple coaches on multiple different things. I have my hypnotherapist that I met with yesterday that deals with money mindset. I've started this journey, more than a couple years ago, but it continues to come back up because new level, same devil. As we continue to scale in revenue, that little devil still comes up and recognizes me more as like the little poor Italian immigrant who was bullied for being different and smelling weird because we didn't shower. But I just love to joke about that. But it's like this, it's so funny how this stupidest shit that you look back as a kid that seems so stupid really had the most impact on you and the reality that you believe about yourself. So one of the favorite techniques that I like to share that I learned from my own money mindset mentors is thank you for sharing. When your brain comes in and says just awful things to you that you can't afford it, it's never going to work, you're going to go bankrupt again. Thank you for sharing. In reality, here's what could happen. And then there's also number two is a self-coaching technique of here's the situation. So let's say the situation is that you want to invest in your business. Okay, well, what's the outcome that you want it to be? You want it to thrive, right? So then what's the action that you're going to take? You're going to invest in your business, right? Because if you want to invest in your business and you don't want the outcome to be that you want your business to grow and thrive, then the action that you don't take is to invest in your business. And then the result of the action that you take. And I love to use that self-coaching technique even for relationships with my husband because as I mentioned, my husband and I's marriage was really, really rocky because of all this difficulty. And I had to make the choice that what was the outcome that I wanted? I wanted to have a happy marriage. I wanted to have a trusting relationship. I wanted to have a best friend. But how was I acting? I was punishing him when I could. I was saying toxic things when I could. And he was giving it right back. So in my mind, he deserved it. Right. But then I self-taught myself, coached myself. And okay, well, what is the outcome? I want to have an honest and beautiful, open best friend relationship.
Yeah.
Well, is that going to happen if I'm constantly talking, saying disrespectful things to him, constantly reminding him that he's not bringing in money, constantly reminding him how much I do in relation to what he does? No, that's not going to result in a happy marriage.
No.
So, and once you shift, and then the part of you that maybe isn't thinking ahead as much goes, well, but that's not fair because I feel like I work on my marriage, the other person doesn't. But once you shift and you start to change your attitude and your way that you behave, that person's attitude and behavior will shift. And whether that results in a happy, long lasting marriage or simply good communication as you choose to part ways, either way, it's a happy ending for both of you. And I will say that once I let go of the animosity and the struggle and the anger that I had towards him, because I felt like it was all on my shoulder and switched the mindset to being so proud that I was providing for us. My business skyrocketed, his business skyrocketed, and now we're able to support each other.
And how did you get over, because I do that personally too. My other half, I love him. I love him dearly, but he is definitely he's negative a lot of times with certain things, right? And so I have learned to shift to where I actually kind of just don't acknowledge it.
Mhm.
Or I'll say something positive about something like that. But how did you change that aspect in your marriage to where if he's coming at you in a negative manner, what did you do to change that? Did you just kind of go
Mhm.
for a walk? Did you just kind
Mhm.
of ignore the situation a little bit? Or,
Mhm.
what was that transition for you like?
We actually read a book together called The Love Dare. And one of the exercises in there was to write fighting rules. During a time that you're not fighting, write fighting rules.
Mhm.
So we came up with fighting rules, i.e., number one, we don't mention divorce again. If neither of us really want it, we're just using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Number two, no more name calling. We don't actually think these things about each other. Maybe we do, but name calling isn't going to change it. And number three, if he, asks for, because I'm the one who's like, let's figure it out right now. Let's talk it through. And he's the opposite. The more I try to come at him, the more he needs space and time to
Mhm.
think. And so we established that if it gets heated, we need the fighting rule is that we go our separate ways for a little bit. We agree to disagree. So now it's changed from maybe a fight, I'm not kidding you, lasting weeks, if not months, of us giving each other the silent treatment and saying snide remarks under our breath to like not even a night. Because in the past, then I would take action to like punish him for how he was treating me unfairly. And then he would pull away even more.
Yeah.
And now, if I catch myself even start to think about it, I'm like, what am I doing? What
Yeah.
is the outcome that I want here? Okay, if I am turning off the TV just to be rude because I feel like he's not listening to me, is that going to create the outcome of a happy marriage? No.
No, you
So, what action am I going to take instead? Yeah. And now I'm amazed to see the transformation of him and this man that I never thought that I'd get to be married to, where he even brings up things like the other day he said, I react to things. I think that what I need to do is I just need to pause. Or he'll say something like, I don't know what's up with my ego that I feel like I need to prove that I know everything and that I'm right all the time. Because that's the other thing that he would do. He
that's
would like pull
huge.
up articles and articles and articles of Google research just because he wanted to prove he was right sometimes. And it was like, dude, let it go. I don't even care that much. So now he's recognizing that he doesn't have to prove that he's right. It's okay for him to think that he's right and for me not to agree. And that's totally fine, and vice versa.
Yeah. I love it. So I want to rein it back a little bit on the business because I do want to highlight it because, I mean, you guys are amazing and you have an amazing team. So as someone who is setting up their team and setting up processes and procedures and going through all of that, what is your take to help somebody to set up that in their business? Because I know you don't necessarily have employees as much, right? Are they?
I do. I do.
Okay. Okay.
hmm Yeah,
Okay.
no, I have half employees, half are contractors, and it's
Okay.
just based on, do I have enough workload to have an employee? Because I
Yeah.
personally do prefer to have dedicated employees if I have enough of a workload for them, because then I know that I have their focused attention, and we have certain systems and processes, and it's become second nature to them. But I will also be raw and real and say that it just in the past year alone, the past 2 years, every single year we've doubled our revenue, or if not, by increased it by 30%. And obviously that comes with growing pains,
Yeah.
but you don't want to look at that as, well, I don't want growth because then it's growing pains. You want to look at that as an opportunity to improve. So um, sometimes as high achieving entrepreneurs, we forget that things that come to second nature to us are not common sense to other people. And there's a reason, yes. And
Mhm.
there's a reason why we are the high achieving entrepreneurs. We're taking all the risks. We can figure it out. We can problem solve. We can take that detour, find that loophole, go over that wall. We can figure it out. And the beautiful thing about our team members is that they're wonderful at doing what we ask them to do. And it's important for us.
Say something. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said team members. I
Yes.
want to tell you that that is the only way that we call our AKA employees at our electrical office. We don't like it. We say team
Right.
members. I just wanted to say that was awesome. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, of course, because we're a team. We say, let's go. Anytime that I'm telling them room for improvement, I'll call myself out on how I can be a better example for that. We're a team. We say, let's go. We don't say go. We say, let's go, right? So what I'm finding now is as we experience growing pains is, okay, time to write a new checklist. Okay, time to create a new system that automatically reminds you to do this because you're not remembering to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And also remembering that team members might be intimidated by superiors. We're badass entrepreneurs. We're leaders. We're not intimidated. We'll say if we don't understand. We'll say if we need clarification or if we don't know, we'll just own it. Whereas team members, you kind of sometimes have to remind them, it's okay if you don't know how to do this, just tell me and ask me for clarification. Or if you need to take a detour, if you have an idea of how we could do it differently, just tell me. And constantly inviting them for growth. My favorite question or way to address when a team member asks me something is, before I go to find the answer for them, is I say, what do you think we should do? How do you think we should do this? What do you think? Or I'll say, hey, based on the checklist that we created, what do you think we're missing here? I feel like we're missing a couple things, but I don't tell them exactly, hey, you're missing this and this and this. I say, hey, take a look at the checklist. Tell me what items you think you're missing. And that way they're learning more and they're learning to be autonomous.
Yeah. So do you let them like write their script out or let them write their processes and procedures out of what you want done?
We have certain processes and procedures already, just because I keep it minimalistic. We only have 2 packages. And if we do productions outside of that, we have systems and processes there. So we only have 2 packages, but I do put it up to them to update their job descriptions because, for example, a brand manager's job description is very different now than it was maybe a year ago when we maybe updated the job description. But I don't put it up to me to go and update that. I have them update it so I can read it and make sure that they understand what their responsibilities are. And anytime somebody is taking on a new client or they're getting a raise or promotion or they're being brought on, I have them reread the first 6 pages of our employee manual that talks about checklists, to-do lists, professionalism, communication, and what's expected of them, just as a reminder.
Yeah.
But there are still always growing pains. But the important thing is to not get down about it, not critique yourself over it, learn from it, give yourself a gut check on it, but don't let it tell you, I hate this. This sucks. I can't deal with this. We shouldn't be doing this, right? It's like, okay, well, how can I create a system to make this smoother next time? How can we learn from this? And perhaps this team member is not in her or his zone of genius. Let's see if we need to remove them and put them in another zone of genius, or if maybe they need to be empowered elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has their forte of what they're good at, and it's finding that niche for them. So can we talk about your media team?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So
what do you want to know?
Tell me about your company. Tell me about, what you offer, what you do. I mean, I know, but I want everyone to know like how amazing you are. So
thank you. So I referred to my minimalist method. We have 2 packages. We have one where what we call the visible VIPs, where VIPs like Jen get to have our full support in writing content in a way that speaks to the heart of our ideal client. And every single meeting that we're having together, I'm interviewing her so that we are getting closer and closer and closer to who her ideal client is. And then we post the shit out of it all over the place. We email it out for you. We update your blog. And if you need help with a website, we'll also bring a website on if you're a visible VIP. We get so engrossed with your brand regardless that it is important that if we build your website, we're also very well versed in your brand and we're not just building something pretty. And then, and we call this my minimalist method because we have a set proven method that works that we use again and again and again and again, but we customize it to who the ideal client of our VIPs is. And it works. And then we have another package where I teach emerging entrepreneurs who are wanting to have a successful business, but they've tried all the things. Maybe they're still in a full-time job. They don't think it's possible because either they are a mom or they have a lot of family stuff going on, or they just think they need to wait for some reason because of money, because of circumstances. And I help them get through that and build a business that's made to thrive. And so that program is called Made to Thrive. And Clients, my visible VIPs, within the first campaign, they'll sell out a program. They'll build their audience by 20%. They will get 20 inquiries with a 100% closing rate. And clients in my Made to Thrive program, by completion, which is usually six to 8 months, depending on the client's business model, they will typically hit or come close to their income goal by the end of that. And they'll know exactly how to do it in an easy way. Just like my client PM'd me yesterday, and she said, June's already projected to be, now mind you, this is an emerging entrepreneur who was making $0 as of January, $0. She had to leave a corporate job that was very toxic. She was leaving a corporate job where she was managing $200 million worth of revenue, and she needed to start on her own. And so she had a lot of mindset stuff, right? Because some toxic things happened there. So we worked through that. And now within 6 months, she's making $7K a month for herself. Nice. From 0 to $7K a month. And that's what June is projected to be, with a transaction that she knows is coming through that's been growing.
Yeah.
And she's already hit close to that this month. And that's not to say that June's not going to be even higher, while her parents are having health problems and she gets to be present for them in the hospital, while her brother, who has a disability, is having health problems, and she's her biggest, cheerleader. She's his biggest cheerleader and caretaker, and she basically makes it all happen for her family. But she gets to be present for them, gets to have no shame about it, and still get close to and exceed her income goals.
Yeah.
While she feels more peace and ease.
Yeah. And it's not even just those 2 packages you offer. I mean, honestly, to tell people, I feel like you offer so much more than that. I mean, I message you with random questions and things like that, and you get right back to me. And it's more than that. It's almost like you make me feel at ease. And that's what people need. And that's what people want, right? You don't want a media person that's telling you, oh, you should be doing this or this or this. When you have these questions, it's almost like a family, right? It makes you feel better about what you're doing. It's almost like, I don't feel like we're just doing a business transaction. I feel like you're my friend.
Yeah. Right? And I do too. And that I'm growing your business with you. And I'm I feel just as responsible as you do about it.
Yeah. So, where can everybody find you if they want to look for you and find you and your services?
Now, that's a great question. If you are already an established entrepreneur and you're simply looking to scale to 7 and multi-7 figures, then I would love for you to join me in my Facebook community called, I always have to look it up, Female Millionaire Moguls in the Making. But if you are an emerging entrepreneur who hasn't quite figured out, maybe you still have a full-time job, or you haven't there's no shame in it, but you haven't quite hit even 3K a month, then the Minimalist Method for Prosperous Female Entrepreneurs is the Facebook community you want to join. And both of those, I offer exclusive trainings, resources, gifts worth thousands and thousands of dollars that I don't offer anywhere else. And that is a great place to start if you're wanting to learn more about the Minimalist Method.
So I have a question. What if you do have an entrepreneur and they're doing fairly well, but they feel like, you know what, I would still like to get some more advice of maybe how I can better myself. Do you think that that lower I don't want to say lower package, but that other package, do you think that would even help the entrepreneur that already has their business going?
I would say I lead everybody who is not an emerging entrepreneur towards the visible VIP, because the emerging entrepreneur, and maybe tell me if you agree or disagree, Jen, when you're starting your business, you got to stay in the room. You've got to be accountable. You got to do the checklist. You've got to do the steps. You got to do the program. You've got to like get going. You're on a marathon.
Yes.
But once you've established it and you're successful, then you can relax. You can, what's that?
I said, you don't have the time to do it.
No, it's not that. I mean, I have the time if I want to do it. That's the biggest myth. People say, oh, you're a mom of 5, you have multiple brands, you must be so busy. I'm not busy at all. There is multiple times of the day that I'm like, I don't have anything to do. I should pick up a hobby. Maybe I'll learn Spanish. because of the minimalist method. Because once you grow, then if you're at the, even if you're at the level that you're established and you are doing well, then I lean you to the Visible VIP, because not only do we, now Jen doesn't need help with this, so we haven't addressed this with her, but that's the beautiful thing about it, because there's some business owners who not only need help with marketing, not only need help with their online presence, their visibility, with increasing inquiries and leads, but they're afraid that once I help them with that they're already busy as it is, that they're not going to be able to handle it. So I help them strategize how to look at their schedule, how to look at their team, how to delegate, how to simplify their processes so that they are still feeling at ease. Because once you're established, you should be feeling more peace, more ease, more time,
Yeah.
all these extra connections from source, the divine, that tell you all these other wonderful ideas that then you get to tell your team to make happen for you. So you can continue to connect, be visible, and make things happen. So that's why I always leave them towards the Visible VIP. Whereas Made to Thrive, I love to, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, Brittany Runs a Marathon on Amazon Prime.
I have, yeah.
I watch so much TV, but so I use a lot of movie analogies, but I look at emerging entrepreneurs as running a marathon. There's going to be people who are going to try to get you to not work when you're supposed to work, to not show up for yourself, to break the rules of what it takes to be in lean form, to get this business up to thrive. And I'm kind of your, accountability coach, as much as telling you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
In a way that works for you.
No, yeah. And I try telling people a lot of times, I have a couple different coaches, right? So I have a spiritual coach because I get out of alignment. My brain still goes back to, as he calls, the mind fucking. But then I also do have like my business coach. And these are things and strategies that I think as we grow as an individual, we need in our lives to organize. I have a health coach, I have a nutrition coach, I have this, I have, and those are the things that start to help us to become that person that is actually truly happy and balanced. Right. And I remember telling Kevin, who's my other half, this was a couple weeks ago. I was like, wow, I get to sit here and actually enjoy my cup of coffee this morning because I don't have to be on social media. Right. And so I thank you for that. But, I definitely think that more people need to hear this. So I want to thank you for coming on and giving us a little bit about you and opening up, and because it helps people that, are in the struggle. It helps women that are at that point that you and I were, at our younger ages. But then it also helps maybe the entrepreneur women, or even men, I shouldn't say, women that are in that point that they have to start pivoting their business and where to go and how to do these things. And it all comes to getting the right people in the right seats. So then that way you can enjoy your life.
Yeah. And thanks to you actually referring some clients. I like to use the hashtag not surprised, because I love for my clients and for you who's listening to become in a place where you expect things to just magically work out for you, because that is key. I always tell my clients, it's not just our marketing, it's the magic within you. We choose specific clients and only say yes to specific clients whose magic we can see has ease and flow. But prior to you telling me that, my husband is actually the one who started the company, taught me everything I know. I took it, made it my own, coined the minimalist method while he got into the real estate and development world. And recently he's gotten our multi-million-dollar real estate development. It's actually, we build entire neighborhoods, all over the country. He's gotten to a place where he's like, I have so much time on my hands, and sometimes I have hours between meetings for the development company. I wish that I could take on just a couple clients back in our company, just a couple. I really enjoy doing it, and I just have so much time on my hands between meetings sometimes that I could really do it from anywhere. And sure enough, soon after, you were like, hey, meet this contact. And he actually happens to be perfect to be there strategist because his people that he hangs out with every day are their ideal clients. So he knows their hearts and souls. He knows them in and out. He knows what they want to hear and what they're not going to take the time to pay attention to on social media.
Yeah.
So he's the perfect match for them. He becomes, I kid, but he becomes almost like Rain Man when it comes to marketing. He becomes obsessed with seeing what works and doesn't work, just like I do for my clients. So that was just an example of when you expect things to happen for you, when you speak them out in the universe, when you claim it, and you're like, I said it, I want it, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the magic. That's the magic that is going to take you from struggling to being the multi-million-dollar mogul that you want to be. And it's your choice. Yeah. It's your choice. Any strategy I bring you wouldn't work if you didn't think any of it would work. Yeah. That's what I always say. I'm like, it's your magic and my marketing. Let's make it happen.
Well, thank you for hanging with me. And I know I'm taking you from your family a little bit, but
no, it's good. It's Friday afternoon.
Okay,
We're good.
Good. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But again, I will, when we launch this out, I'll have all of her information for you to get a hold of her too. But she is amazing. If you guys ever want to check her out. She will definitely help you, as I say, own your own shit. And thank you. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Thanks for turning in this week. I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I hope you're feeling stronger mentally and physically and ready to kick some ass. As we navigate new society norms, business and beauty breakthroughs, make sure to always ask yourself, what the fuck is beauty to me? And know that's all that really matters. If you love this content today, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow me and get more info on how to work with me at jencarrasco.com. You can also find me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Now just remember, stay mentally tough.